Hey guys, welcome. Sorry. My name's Drogs. This is Fully Painted Miniatures, and welcome back. Um, this is going to be a solo Let's Play of Aeons End 2nd Edition. I'm going up against the Prince of Gluttons. This is my first time ever playing against him, so I have not practiced this, and I will probably lose. So don't be surprised if I do not win. This is not a, video to show you the best possible strategy to beat any particular boss or anything like that. I'm also going to be playing with randomizers. Give it a little bit of unpredictability and let me try to organically learn some of the cool combos. So this is a picture of the Prince of Gluttons. Pretty nasty guy. Let's read through his fluff material. So, the past was lost to us in many ways. First, our world was taken, forcing the few that then survived into the black cold of the earth. For aeons, generations of survivors eked out meager lives in Gravehold, the breach mages all the while honing their fell craft. For aeons, the Nameless would lay siege to the city, bringing us ever closer to extinction. But their cruelest stroke was in erasing our very history. The Prince of Gluttons was the fourth of their kind to besiege the city. Even at the time, it seemed too easy to repel his attack and send the prince lumbering back into the bright nothing of the breach. But soon those that survived the attack had forgotten the name of the world that was. Wives stared into the empty eyes of their husbands, and children with no memory of their love for one another. The old ways were lost, the words of the first tribe, mere symbols scratched upon scrolls, all of it devoured, obliterated from eternity. The prince feeds on our very histories, leaving behind only our fear and doubt. We are a people with no past nor future, trapped only in the fleeting moments before our eyes. All right, give me 1 sec. I'm going to let my dog outside. She's barking way too much. That is not okay. I'm recording. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully that doesn't start up again. All right, so Prince of Gluttons. For his setup, you place the top card of each gem supply pile, which I haven't drawn up yet. So we'll do that later. We'll go through that information later. All right, so I'm going to be playing with Zaxos, the Breach Mage Adept. I've gone through all of the characters that came in the starter set, I guess you call it, already. So I just picked two of my favorites. So Zaxos and Brahma. I think these guys are really, really good, so I wanted to try them out together. So Zaxos is going to start with Flare and 4 crystals. Flare, reveal the top card of the turn order deck and then place it back on top of the turn order deck. If you revealed a player turn order card, deal 3 damage, otherwise deal 1 damage. And it has flavor text saying, the other mages do not fully trust Zaxos, for there is a darkness they perceive in his words. So basically that's a spark that has a 66% chance of turning into 3 damage. So I really like that as a starting card. That's really good. His starting deck is going to have 4 crystals and a spark. And then his special ability allows me to gain 4 charges and divide them back up between the 2 players to reveal the turn order deck completely and return the cards in any order. So I can reorganize. I can reorder cards. And I can also give charges to Brahma, which her ability allows any player to gain 4 life. So I figured between her healing and his ability to charge her charge, that should give me a really good advantage. So Brahma is the Breach Mage Elder, and she is going to start with Buried Light, which is basically a spark and a crystal combined in one. It does 1 damage and gains 1 power. Hers is a fire that burns bright and with a single purpose, to deliver us back to the world that was, no matter the cost. I'm not going to go through the flavor text on the heroes for this game, but I have done that in the past. I will still be reading them out on the cards as they come up for the first time. Okay, so as always, I use randomizer cards. So I've already shuffled these, but I'm doing another quick shuffle. As you can see, I'm not just making this up. And we will draw 3 gems, 2 relics, and 4 spells. So first gem is Burning Opal. Gain 3 power. If you may discard a card in hand. If you do, an ally draws a card for 5 power. Clouded Sapphire for 6 power. 6 cost. Gain 3 power. If this is the first time you've played Clouded Sapphire this turn, an ally gains 1 charge. Okay, so 2 high cost gems and a mid cost Diamond Cluster. I don't think I've actually had this one in any of my videos so far. Gain 2 power. If this is the second time you've played Diamond Cluster this turn, gain an additional 2 power. Huh, okay. It's interesting. So 4, 5, and 6. All right, and now for the relics. Oh, I forgot I wanted to do that after I pulled the regular cards out, because it has the flavor text. But that's okay. Mage's Talisman. Gain 1 charge. An ally gains 1 charge. So definitely going to have a lot of charges in this one. And Focusing Orb. Focus any player's breach. Destroy this. Grateful gains 3 life. So good. I mean, decent so far. High cost, though, on the shop. So I don't know how that's going to work, because Glutton, I looked at his abilities briefly. He like eats shop cards, something like that. So I don't know if it's an advantage to have higher cost ones or lower cost ones, or how that works. But we're going to find out. All right. First spell, Planar Insight, 6 cost. Deal 2 damage, do 1 additional damage for each open breach. That works really well with Focusing Orb, so happy with that. Dark Fire, 5 cost. Discard up to 2 cards in hand. Deal 3 damage for each card discarded this way. It's okay. Ignite, 4 cost. That's nice. Deal 2 damage and ally gains 1 charge. I don't think I've seen this spell before. I have lots of ways to gain charges. Clouded Sapphire, Ignite, and Mage's Talisman. And Zoxos' ability. So, very cool. And Oblivion Swell. Once prepped, once per turn, you may gain 1 power. Deal 2 damage. Discard a gem. If you do, deal additional damage equal to those costs. That's actually a really good combination, because I have 2 high costs and a mid cost gem. So those are going to be our store for this game. Yeah, did you guys have fun outside? Yeah. Running around like crazy people. My dogs are nuts. They're great, but they're a little nuts. All right. Diamond Cluster, Sapphire. So how's everybody doing today? Let me know in the comments. Any tips, tricks. This is my first experience with Aeons End, is with this 2nd edition starter set. So far, so good. Really liking it. I did pick up a small expansion, one of the little $15 ones. I think it has 1 mage and 2 or 3 bosses in there, nemesis. And a bunch of spells. I haven't looked at the spells yet. I try not to look at any cards ahead of time. So for example, Ignite has not come up in any of my games. I have not read that rule before. I didn't even know that card existed. No idea. Like here's this one, Arcane Nexus. I haven't seen this one yet. I don't know what it does. So I try to keep it that way so that I can be surprised. And it just kind of keeps everything, I don't know, fresh and exciting. And I don't like having perfect information. That's not true. I do enjoy perfect information games. It's just a very different thing. And if I'm going to do it that way, like I have to do it all the way. So I'd much rather in a game like this, I'm the type of player, I will look at something, I will theory craft, 2 or 3 different combinations that I like, and then I'll just do those all the time, even if I keep losing. I'll try to just tweak them so the randomizers kind of forces me to use cards I would never pick on my own to combine together to kind of figure out synergies a little bit more organically. So I'm going to read just through the flavor text on the store. So Diamond Cluster, these gems were once the most precious, the most scarce. Now they line the walls of caves like shimmering fangs. Our Burning Opal. Careful, youngling. You'll be wanting tongs to handle that. And our Clouded Sapphire. They say if you look closely, the shadow of the world that was is imprisoned within. Pretty cool. So this game doesn't give you a lot of story exposition, so you kind of you get the story through just these tiny little bits of flavor text as you go through. Focusing orb. Jian picked up the orb as if knowing its purpose. That was the last day she ever spoke. Drop some cards. Okay. And Mage's Talisman. The sister mages of old would wear their talismans as a symbol of their station and a warning to those that would challenge them. All right, Ignite. We're but one flickering flame against unimaginable dark. I do like that I have the costs of the spells, at least. Dark Fire. Zaxos always says, to come back to light, we must first visit the shadow. Oblivion Swell. Many folk have made their fortune harvesting gems. The very breaches through which the nameless come bestow the stones with strange properties. Okay. So that explains why gems even matter. And Planar Insight. She may no longer speak, but she sees much. Okay, so let's get this set up and read through the Prince of Glutton's setup. So the top card of each gem supply pile, starting with the most expensive, face up in a pile next to this mat. This pile is the devoured pile. So Clouded Sapphire, Burning Opal, and Diamond Cluster. So that's the beginning devoured pile. And then his Unleash rule devours 3 cards from the least expensive supply pile. Okay. Additional rules, when a card is devoured, place it on top of the devoured pile, even if the devoured pile is empty. Cards may be gained from the top of the devoured pile as if they were a supply pile. Okay. So it's like an additional store location. The players may look through the devoured pile at any time. Cards in the devoured pile cannot be devoured. Prince of Gluttons does not start a devour on an empty supply pile. Hey, no bark. Okay, guys. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty there with somebody came to the door to drop off a package, and my dogs just went ballistic. So I was in the middle of the reading the
The additional rules, I believe, yeah, so I'll just start beginning real quick. If a card's devoured, it's put on the devoured pile. Players may purchase the top card from the devoured pile. We may look through the devoured pile. Prince of Gluttons will not start a devour on an empty supply pile. He'll always move to the next one. But when he would devour a card from a supply pile that is empty, Gravehold suffers 2 damage per card instead. So, for example, if he's going to devour 2 cards and there's only 1 left. When all supply piles are empty except for the devoured pile, the players lose. So he's trying to eat the store, basically. And I want to keep the store there. So it's to my advantage to buy cards off the devoured pile so that I can keep cards in the store. All right. So I think that's it. I don't think I forgot anything. All right, let's start. So first is going to go Zaxos. He is going to prep his flare. Oh, yes. I forgot to mention the breaches. So Zaxos starts with 1 open breach. And then his second is going to cost 5 to open, his third 9, and his fourth 10. Brahma starts with 1 open breach. Her second is going to cost 4 to open, third 9, and her fourth 7. So she's got much cheaper breach openings. Okay, so back to Zaxos. He's going to prep his flare, 0.1, and then he's going to have 4 power, and he's going to buy a diamond cluster. And then his next turn, he's going to have a spark and 4 crystals. Nemesis goes Eye of Nothing. Oh, bring it up here. Eye of Nothing. Spend 6 power to discard. Power 2, unleash twice. We toy with forces we barely comprehend. Luckily, that's power 2, so it won't occur till next round. But, yeah, probably not preventing that. 6 power is kind of a tall order. So, Nemesis again. Moves 1 power. Draws a second card. Thought Biter. Oh, these are the dudes from... that's cool. It's the Langoliers from the Stephen King movie. The little mouths that eat you. Alright, Thought Biter. Persistent. Any player suffers 2 damage. Or devour 2 relics from the least expensive relic supply pile. Is it eating the cave wall? 2 damage isn't a big deal. Alright, at least he's done for the round. Alright, Zaxos again. So first thing, we're going to cast Flare. And we're going to reveal turn card of 2. I don't know if I did that. So that's going to do 3 damage. And he will do that to the Thought Biter. Bring him down to 3. He will then prep his Spark. And then he has 4 power remaining. He will buy another crystal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Giving him Diamond Cluster with 4 crystals for his next turn. Oh. I forgot to put the flare in. Pretty sure it should be right here. Yeah, that's how it went. Okay, sorry about that. All right, 2, Brahma. Brahma is going to prep her Buried Light spell. Man, I've got to get a better organization set up. All right, and then she has her 4 crystals with which to... Oh, she's going to buy this Diamond Cluster in the store. All right. And then her next turn. Crystal, 2 sparks. Okay. Which happens now. So first she's going to cast Buried Light. Deal 1 damage So Thought Biter. And gain 1 power. She's going to prep a Spark. And then she's going to use 3 crystals plus the power from the Buried Light to focus her second breach and prep her additional Spark. And that completes her turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Diamond Cluster and 4 crystals. So that is the first round. I also did the math the other day because I hadn't actually done this. Just kind of to figure out how many rounds there are. And I think it's what? 3 rounds. You're in tier 1 Nemesis abilities. And then like 4 through 8, you get like 5 rounds. In tier 2, and then like another 5 rounds or 6 rounds in tier 3. But you know, you're only going to last 2 or 3 of those. Basically 10 rounds finishes the game. If you haven't won by then, you're about to lose, more or less. So that's the first round. No, that was decent. All right, we're going to start off with Brahma again. And she's going to let off both Sparks. And she's going to kill the Tough Biter. Yeah, that's fine. And then she's going to... Oh, yeah. And that is 6 power. So she's going to use that to discard the Eye of Nothing. Nice. Good job, Brahma. 2, 3, 4. And she's going to start with Buried Light, Spark, and 3 crystals. On next turn. But Zaxos is going to go first. He is going to cast his Spark to deal 1 damage to the Prince of Gluttons. First blood. All right. And then he has 6 power. And he is going to buy a Clouded Sapphire. Oh, sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought that was 5 cards. So his next hand is going to be Flare, Diamond Cluster, and 3 crystals. But Nemesis goes first. And it's going to be Haze Spewer. Persistent. Gravehold suffers damage equal to this minion's current life. Then this minion suffers 1 damage. The fumes they belch are so caustic that they rarely live long themselves. 5 hit points. Brahma first. She doesn't have anything prepped. But, so I'm going to prep Buried Light, spend 3 power to open her second breach, and prep Spark. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she will have 3 crystals, Diamond Cluster, and a Spark for her next round, or next turn. Nemesis goes first. So first thing that happens is Gravehold will suffer 5 damage. That's pretty gnarly for a tier 1 card. But he drops to 4 life. And then we draw a card. Banespire. Persistent. Unleash. Best to kill these first. Man, what's with all the minions? Alright. Then Zaxos' turn. He has nothing prepped. He's going to prep Flare. And he has 5 crystal. Or 5 power. And he's going to purchase Burning Opal from the Devoured pile. Alright. 3, 4, 5. And his next turn, he's going to have Clouded Sapphire, Diamond Cluster, 2 crystals, and a spark. Second round, okay. It's not the hottest start. Yeah. I guess it's probably better to have more expensive store items than cheaper ones. Is that each card is more powerful. If I had like Jades, for example, I would have like bought that whole row already. So it's probably better that I got cards that give a little bit more power. Alright. Brahma. She's going to cast Buried Light and Spark to deal 2 damage to the Haze Spewer. This also grants her 1 power. She's then going to prep another Spark. And she has a total of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power. So I will buy the Sapphire while I can. And then her next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to have 4 crystals and Buried Light again. And Zaxos is going to go. So first he's going to cast Flare. Reveal, turn order. Nice. So that's 3 damage. So he's going to kill the Haze Spewer. Wasted 1 there. I thought about splitting it up when I cast the Spark, but it's fine. Okay. Now he's going to prep a Spark. And he has quite a bit of power. He's got Clouded Sapphire, Diamond Cluster, and 2 crystals. So that's 5, 7 power. Plus, this is going to grant Brahma a charge from the Clouded Sapphire special ability. So 7 power. I don't have anything that's 3. So I can't get 2 cards. I can only buy 1. But I can buy 1 and a charge if I want to. Yeah. I'll buy Oblivion Swell and a charge. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay. And then his next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Burning Opal and 4 crystals. And it is his turn. He's going to cast Spark on the Banesire, dealing 1 damage. And then this is worth 7 again. Power. I will discard a crystal, just making it 6. I'm going to grab a Focusing Orb and a charge. And that discard is going to allow Brahma to draw another card. So she draws a Spark. His next turn, he's going to have 3 crystals, a Diamond Cluster, and a Flare. Nemesis goes first. Banesire causes an Unleash. Unleash causes the Prince of Gluttony to devour 3 cards from the least expensive supply pile. So 1, 2, 3. Crystals. All right. And then draw a card. Gorge. Devour 2 cards from the second most expensive gem supply pile. Any player suffers 2 damage. So much of our history was lost in the first purge. Aeons of knowledge, art, and culture erased. It has been so very long that we know not even the true name of the world that was. Okay, so he's going to devour 2 cards from the second most expensive. So that is any of the 5 cost cards I guess I choose if it's even like that. So Dark Fire, Bolivian Swell. Eh. I don't know. I'll just do 2 burning opals. Oh, and Zaxos will take the 2 damage. Yeah. Still not quite sure how he plays out. I haven't seen his cards yet, so we'll see. All right, Brahma. She's going to cast Spark, deal 1 damage to the Banesire. Bringing him down to 4. She's then going to prep Buried Light, Dark Fire, and she has 4 power. She's going to buy a Focusing Orb. Her next hand, 3 crystals, Cloud Sapphire, Diamond Cluster. And Nemesis goes again. So we're going to unleash again. Devour 3 cards from the least expensive supply pile. So that's Diamond Cluster. It's eaten. And then 4 damage to Gravehold. I mean, there are still other... Well, yeah, that's... I don't know. I'm just going to go left to right on that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm playing that correctly. All right. Lobotomize. Any player suffers 3 damage or devour 3 spells from any supply pile. Definitely taking the damage on that. Zaxos, taking 1 for the team. I saw the woman's eyes empty and everything she was fall away into nothing. Okay. So that's the end of that round. Not great. I don't think I'm doing very well. That's the 3rd round. So that means next turn we're on to tier 2 cards. So yeah. I got decent crystals. Right? Like they each have a Cloud Sapphire. They each have 1 or 2 diamonds. That's good. And I'm starting with relics, but I haven't really gotten any spells at all. All right, we'll see how this goes. 2. She's going to cast Buried Light and Spark to deal 2 damage to the Banesire. She also gains 1 power. And she has a bunch of power this turn. It's Clouded Sapphires 3, Diamond Cluster. That's 2. That's 6, 7, 8, 9 power. And it gives a free charge to Zaxos. So for 9 power, I can actually get 2 cards. I will get a Oblivion Swell and a Focusing Orb. All right. Our next turn, Focusing Orb, Spark, and 3 crystals. Zaxos first, nothing prepped. I will prep Flare. And then he has 5 power to purchase. Oblivion Swell. His next turn, Oblivion Swell, Clouded Sapphire, Diamond, and 2 crystals. Nemesis first. Banesire unleashes, devouring 3 cards from the least expensive supply pile. So that is going to be 2 Focusing Orbs plus 2 damage to Gravehold. Not great, bringing me down to 19. Then draw, Lay Waste, unleash twice, and any player suffers 2 damage. Gravehold sat silent and forgotten for 1,000 years before the Nameless came. No one remembers from whom this vast city was built. Those stories lay in the ash outside the cave with the bones of those who once told them. Okay, so unleashing twice. So I don't have any more 4-cost cards, so I guess it's Burning Opal would be next. 1, 2, 3 cards. Yeah, and I guess it eats that one again. And then another 4 damage. I think I probably should be able to choose, but I mean, he just ate all my crystals. That's crazy. That's crazy. Brahma's going to take 2 damage, leaving her with 8 life. Yeah, so that's what I mean. It just starts getting scary, and Nemesis goes again. So unleash again. So this time it would be Mage's Talisman. 1, 2, 3, eaten. I gotta get rid of that Banesire. And Cauterizer. Whenever damage is dealt to this minion, reduce that damage by 1. Every persistent, any player suffers damage equal to this minion's current life. So it takes 3 attacks to kill him. Hack away all you like, youngling. It'll only grow back another, whatever that part is. Craziness. Craziness. Alright. Flare. So, I'm sorry, Zaxos is going to go first. He's going to cast Flare. Reveal. Turn order card is 2. So it's going to do 3 damage and kill the Banesire. About time. That thing was just wrecking me. He unleashed like 5 times. Yeah. He's going to prep Oblivion Swell. And then he has 5, 6, 7 power. And the Sapphire gives Brahma a charge. So with that, I guess I'll buy a Mage's Talisman and another charge. Man. And get some heals up. But even still, like, Gravehold's already halfway down. 2, 3, 4, 5. I've only done 1 damage to him. So I'm not having my best game by any means. Alright, next turn. Give me a Spark, Focusing Orb, Burning Opal, 2 crystals. And it's going to be Brahma. She's going to prep Spark. She's going to cast Focusing Orb to focus a breach. Actually, to Zaxos. Good. He doesn't have anything open. And she only had, oh man. And she has 3 power, which isn't enough to buy anything. Except the charge. And I just realized I've been playing that wrong too. The Ignite up here. Oh man, my camera goes off. Sorry. The Ignite up here is a 4-cost card. I was getting rid of 5 the Talisman on the last one. So that was my mistake. Sorry, guys. All right, so that was the 4th round. I'm getting my butt kicked. Prince of Gluttony doesn't mess around. Especially with that Banesire. I mean, he just ate up half my store. And here we go. Cauterizer is going to deal 3 damage. So Brahma will take that. So both my mages are now down to half life. Luckily I can heal. And draw a card. Another minion, Venomite. 9 damage. The player with the lowest life suffers 2 damage. Or any player discards a prep spell that costs 3 or more. In the world that was, there are many creatures that use poison as a means of survival. But these things are poison. It's okay, puppies. Yeah. He's breathing heavy. Okay. Yeah. And Nemesis again. Okay. Zaxos takes 3 damage, leaving him with 2. And any player discards a prep card that costs 3 or more. Or if I don't discard that, he's going to die. Man. And he draws a card. Unleash twice. The words and gestures needed left him, and the breach grew dim. Wow, okay. So ignite. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And Gravehold suffers 2 damage. Crazy. Crazy. 2. Brahma. Okay. I don't think I'm gonna win this one, guys. That Banesire just, oh man, all those unleashes. I don't even have any spells. I don't have any of my breaches open. Like, what am I supposed to do? I haven't done any damage to him. I can't. Oof. By the time I get that under control, I'm yeah, not good. Not good, guys. All right, I'm gonna cast Spark. Deal 1 damage to the Cauterizer. I will prep. Spark. Oblivion Swell. I will use a Focusing Orb to focus her 4th breach, and prep Buried Light to that. And this crystal, I'm just gonna basically discard, use it for 1 power, which does nothing. You can't technically discard cards in this game, but you can generate power with cards and then not use that power, which is effectively the same thing a little bit. All right, next hand, Clouded Sapphire, Diamond Cluster, and 3 crystals. Zaxos, he has nothing prepped. He's going to prep Spark. He's going to use his Focusing Orb to focus that breach. And he is then left with 5 power remaining. Yeah, I guess I'll take Oblivion Swell again. I'm starting to doubt my strategy. Alright. Just escalated way too quickly. Oblivion Swell, Diamond Cluster, 3 crystals for his next turn. Which is now. He's going to cast Spark to do 1 damage to the Cauterizer. He's then going to prep Oblivion Swell, and he's going to have 5 power. And yeah, Darkfire. His next turn, Flare, Mage's Talisman, Clouded Sapphire, and 2 crystals. That's Brahma. So she's going to use her Spark to kill the Cauterizer, getting him off the board. Thankfully. Okay. He's also going to cast Buried Light, do 1 damage to the Venomite. And he has 8 life left. Yeah. And then I'm going to cast Oblivion Swell and discard a Clouded Sapphire, doing 8 damage to the Venomite. Okay. That was actually a good turn. She still has a Diamond Cluster and 3 crystals, allowing her to buy a Mage's Talisman. Next turn, focusing orb, 3 crystals and a spark. So that was better. I at least, oh man, I got myself out of like certain death. Still not dealing with a ton of damage potential to start hacking away at him. So it's really going to depend on the cards. Creature. God Feeders. Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Devour a gem from the most expensive gem supply pile. The prince exploits these creatures to both mend its wounds and sate its hunger. 8. So hopefully the last Nemesis card is, last. All right. Zaxos. So I'm going to do the same thing I just did with Brahma on the previous turn. I'm going to cast Oblivion Swell and discard Clouded Sapphire, bringing it from 2 damage to 8 damage. So that's a good, really good combination. I'm just going to kill this guy. Keep things under control. Then I'm going to prep a flare. Use Mage's Talisman, which gives him a charge. He's then going to use his ability, which allows allies to collectively gain 4 charges. I'm going to give 2 to Brahma and 2 back to himself. Reveal the turn order deck. 1, 2, 2 Nemesis. I actually like that, so I'm going to just leave that there. But return them in any order. Sweet. And then I have 2 power left. And I will buy 1 more charge. So he's already back to 3 charges. But he was able to power up the Brahma. Basically gave 2 of his charges to her. Is what that effectively did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on his next turn, he's going to have Oblivion Swell, 2 crystals, a diamond cluster, and a focusing orb. And he goes again, casts Flare. And it's going to be a 3 damage Flare. Doing 3 damage to Prince of Gluttons. He's then going to prep Oblivion Swell. And he's going to use Focusing Orb on his tier 4. He then has 4 power. I'll buy Ignite from the Devour pile. 4 on his next turn. I always forget about the +1 on that first turn. He's going to have a Spark, another Oblivion Swell, Burning Opal, and 2 crystals. Okay. Now Brahma's going to go. As we already know, she's going to go twice in a row. So she's going to prep a Spark. Focusing Orb. I'm actually going to take... Yeah, it's fine. No, I'm taking it back. She's using the Focusing Orb first because it's going to open her tier 4 breach. And then she'll prep there. And 3... Oh, she'll use her ability to gain... Any player gains 4 life. We're going to use it on Zaxos. So he's going from 2 to 6. Takes all of her charges. And then with her 3 crystal, she's going to buy 1 more charge. 2, 3, 4, 5. And on her next turn, Oblivion Swell, Buried Light, Spark, Crystal, Focusing Orb. And her next turn is now. She's going to cast the Spark for 2 damage. Bring Nemesis down to 64. And prep Oblivion Swell, Buried Light, and Spark. And then she's going to use the Focusing Orb on Zaxos's 4th. And then the crystal just gets wasted. And her next turn is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 crystals, diamond cluster, clouded sapphire, and a mage's talisman. And Nemesis. Another creature. Unbelievable. Needlemaw. Persistent. Gravehold suffers 2 damage. The teeth of this beast makes a fine trophy. The trick is keeping all of your fingers in the taking of them. So I think I pulled every single minion card I possibly could. It's just kind of... Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Which, you know, I don't hate minion cards. Because you can just kill them. And then they don't activate if you get lucky. But it doesn't always work out that way. As we saw with the Inspire. Just eating my lunch. Literally. Alright. Nemesis. Gravehold takes 2 damage. Nothing I can do about that. And another minion. Creephage. Seraphage. Devour cards equal to this minion's life from 1 supply pile. Then this minion suffers 2 damage. Quickly, before our heads are hollow. So this eats 7 cards if I don't damage it first. Wow. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And he goes again. Of course he does. So 9. Since Needlemaw does damage. And then the Seraphage activates. Devour cards. So I guess I'll just give it all of the planar insights. There's only 5. Right? Because that has the most cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. I'll just give it all the crystals. It's fine. And then I still take 4 damage to Gravehold. Because it was too short. But at least it takes 2 damage. So next time it only eats 5 cards. Crazy, 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 crazy. Alright, Brahma. Huh. Spark is going to deal 2 damage. Buried Light does 1. Yeah. Alright, whatever. This isn't fun. Buried Light's going to do 1 damage to the Seraphage. Bringing it down to 4. And, oh, no, never mind. I didn't see that other token. It still has 5. I'm going to use Blooming Swell, sacrificing Clouded Sapphire for 8. Buried Light is 9. Spark is 10, plus 1 on cast, so 11. And I'm going to kill the Needlemaw. 1 go. She's then going to use Mage's Talisman, give them each a charge, and she then has 4 power to give herself 2 more charges, since she can't buy anything with it. Four crystals and a focusing orb for her next turn. Awesome. Zaxos goes first. he's going to cast Oblivion Swell, sacrificing the Burning Opal for 7 damage to kill the Seraphage. He's then going to focus the second breach, which is still closed, and prep both Spark and Oblivion Swell. Next turn, Dark Fire, Diamond Cluster, and 3 crystals. And he goes again. So, no, I'll leave that. Five. So the Spark has to be cast. That goes to, brings Glutton down to 63. If I leave it, I get 6 power. But no, there's no point. So I will cast Oblivion Swell with the Diamond Cluster for 6 damage. Bring him down to 57. So at least I've finally done something sort of productive. I'm going to prep a Dark Fire, and then I'll use 2 power to open a breach. Next turn, 2 crystals, Mage's Talisman, Clouded Sapphire, and Oblivion Swell. And it's going to be Brahma. She has nothing prepped. She's going to use her Focus Orb to open Tier 4 over there. And then she has 4 power, which she can't buy anything with, but she can get a charge and then use it for 4 health for herself, and still leaving 1 additional charge for her. So now, in our next turn, Clouded Sapphire, Oblivion Swell, Focus Orb, Spark, and a Crystal. I'm starting to realize that I think the way to play this is to actually be selective with what you pick and not just go left to right like the way I did with what gets devoured, so that you're picking things for him to devour that you also kind of want to buy. So what kind of happened for me is he was just devouring cards and I was still buying from the store. And that just goes way too quickly through everything you have. I mean, I have not yet reached Tier 3. And I have 5 life left for Gravehold. That's not good. And if I follow basic rules, 1 unleash, if he unleashes on the Mage's Talisman, that's 4 damage. Just from an unleash. Alright. Zaxos is going to go first. He's going to start with Dark Fire. Discard up to 2 cards in your hand. Deal 3 damage for each card discarded this way. 2 crystals. Boom. I think I have to do that the other way. Yeah. So 6 damage. Bring him down to 51. I will then prep Oblivion Swell. Cast Mage's Talisman. Gives me and Brahma both a charge. He's then going to use his ability. He's going to do the same as last time. Keep himself 2 charges and 2 to Brahma. And then he's going to reveal the turn order deck and determine the order. So we're going to have Nemesis just go last for both of those. Then he has Clouded Sapphire, 3 power, which also grants an ally a charge, giving Brahma 5. Awesome. And he's just going to use that to buy himself another charge. So, not bad, not bad. And next is Brahma. She is nothing prepped. She will prep Oblivion Swell. She will use Focusing Orb. Actually, I'm just going to destroy that. And heal Grateful by 3. And she's going to prep Spark and cast Heal. First of all. So that actually gives Zaxos full life. So he's back to full life. She's got 9 life. And 4 power. Can't buy anything. But I can buy charges. So you can see how limited I am. I can't buy a Planar Insight. I can't buy an attack magic, basically. Partially because all the cheap cards are devoured. Not that I had a ton to begin with. Her next turn, she's going to have Diamond Cluster, Crystal, Spark, Mage's Talisman, and Buried Light. But it is Zaxos first, and I didn't do his next cards. So his hand, he has an Ignite, a Flare, Focusing Arm, Diamond Cluster, and Crystal. So 3 power to 4 power, neither of those are useful. So I will cast Oblivion Swell with the Diamond Cluster. So that does 6 damage. Bring Glutton down to 45. And then prep Flare. I will use Focusing Orb to focus tier 3. I'll prep Ignite. And the last crystal just gets wasted. 2, 3, 4. And his next turn, he's going to have 3 crystals, a Burning Opal, and Oblivion Swell. But we do get Brahma one more time before that. She's going to cast same thing. She's going to cast Spark, dealing 2 damage. She's going to cast Oblivion Swell, discarding Diamond Cluster for 6. Bring it down to 37. And she's going to prep Buried Light, Spark. And she's going to use Mage's Talisman. Give them each a charge. Mage's Talisman is a great card. Our next turn, 3 crystals, 4 crystals, and a Focusing Orb. Alright, let's see what the Nemesis is going to do. Another minion. Mind Guzzler. Immediately, set this minion's life equal to 8 plus the number of empty supply piles. Then unleash. Or persistent unleash. So his health is 8 plus 5. So 13. And this guy unleashes every turn. Fun, which he's about to do. Unleash. So I'm going to have him I'm going to start picking. Screw it. He needs 3 Dark Fires. I get to pick. Sunder. Gravehold suffers 4 damage, and the player with the lowest life suffers 4 damage. Or shuffle all the Nemesis turn order cards into the turn order deck. Yeah, I'm not doing that. We're going to take 4 damage. As bad as that is. At least I can heal it.
All right. I've got him down to 37 health. Not bad. Zaxos is healed. Not worried about Brahma's health. A little worried about Greyfolds. Not gonna lie. But I'm starting to do some real damage to him. So, maybe I got a chance. I don't know. I would say, it's maybe like a 25% chance, but we'll see. All right, we're going to start with Brahma. She's got cards to deal 3 damage. So let's start by doing that to this minion thing. And that gives her an additional power, so that will give her 5 power. Okay. And she's going to use Focusing Orb. No, she's going to destroy the Focusing Orb to gain 3 life for Greyfold. Bringing it up to 7. And 5 power. She's going to bar by Darkfire. On her next turn, Oblivion Spell, Spark, Cloud Sapphire, 2 crystals. All right, Zaxos. Flare is going to do 2 damage. And Ignite is going to do 2 damage. So that's 4 damage to the Mind Guzzler. Also grants Brahma a charge. He's going to then prep Oblivion Swell. And he has 6 power. I could also discard a card to give Brahma an extra card, which I think I'm going to do. Yeah. So I will discard 1 crystal to let Brahma draw a Diamond Cluster. And then the 5 power will buy a Darkfire. Nemesis. So he's going to unleash. They all have 1. So he's going to take the Mage Talisman and then do 4 damage to Greyfold, bring me down to 3. And then draw a card. Digest. Unleash 3 times. Where any player suffers damage equal to number of empty supply piles. Oh, definitely that. The Prince feast on the memories of those left in Greyfold, consuming their very histories. I will say I think this is a good team. Brahma for sure. The healing has been very, 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 very useful. But yeah. I forgot to show you Zaxos' hand. Zaxos' next hand is 2 crystals, Diamond Cluster, Oblivion Swell, and a Spark. And Nemesis goes again. That's game. Yeah. Yeah. So he unleashes, he eats Darkfire or Oblivion Swell, doesn't matter which one I pick. And then the next 2 cards, he does 4 damage to Greyfold. So that is game. That is defeat. Definitely not my best game. I didn't particularly like the cards that I got either. They weren't bad. I mean, Oblivion Swell worked well with the crystals. Planar Insight would have worked well with like the Focusing Orb. I love Mage's Talisman, especially for their abilities. Darkfire was fine because I wasn't destroying any cards, so discard all my crystals for that. It wasn't a bad setup by any means. It was a little pricey. I don't know. I just don't think it's been like 2 weeks since I played this. I don't know if I was just rusty. We'll give it another go in a little bit. I'll swap out new heroes and I'll do
different random cards, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, lessons learned. Prince of Gluttons, do not let him unleash. That is deadly. It also appears that like pretty much all of his unique cards that he has are mostly minions. So he's minion heavy. You got to do a lot of damage. He's basically, which, these are meat shields, essentially. They're giving him extra hit points. Yeah, I mean, if he didn't destroy Gravehold, he was going to eat all my cards. And I would have lost anyway before I could have done enough damage to him. So probably if I was doing that again, I would skip the relics. Like, I just wouldn't even... I was fine with the crystals I got. They gave me about the right power level. But I probably should have skipped the Mage's Talisman Focusing Orb and just gone straight for Spells. And just, getting a couple Ignites. Yeah, instead of the Mage's Talisman, I should have went for Ignite. And I should have just started grabbing Dark Fires early on. Yeah. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If any of you made it this far, I'm very impressed. And, leave me a comment below what I did wrong, what I can improve upon. Anything you liked that I did. Any of that good stuff. I promise to, engage with your comments and talk back and all that good stuff. So, hope you had fun. And, yeah, God bless. Thank you.